We haven't talked about the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise for like upwards of a year now, but there's been some developments since, and I'm thinking in terms specifically of Security Breach, because that was the last time I approached this franchise given recent gaming debuts. I'm looking to hop back into it. You know, I was a Five Nights at Freddy's player for at least a little while, especially on the mobile side, the first 3. I don't think I ever got to number 4, but I enjoyed the releases, you know, in terms of jump scare horror games. I didn't play as much of that in my childhood or let alone teenage years, but when Five Nights at Freddy's came along and it was a big trend, of course a lot of people were doing it, I legitimately had fun with the game, and so I've been very curious to see some adaptations in the more recent years. And there was one, at least from what I've looked at previously on this channel, being the VR Help Wanted game, and presently Security Breach, which looked to be an interesting reimagining from different angles of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, at least of what I'm used to. And it's not lost on me as well, but this game is debuting, at least in some circles, I guess, at least on Nintendo, because that's where I found this launch trailer debuted. It's not lost on me that, again, there's been a lot of talk about a Five Nights at Freddy's movie that I believe Blumhouse is doing. And I'm excited to see it. You know, again, I don't know how it'll fare with Blumhouse. The projects I've watched that I've liked, I've loved, and then there's been some clunkers, admittedly. So I'm not sure maybe where Five Nights at Freddy's will sit. We'll see in time, but I'm open to the idea of a movie and more game expansions, especially since I'm looking to perhaps jump back in. And I thought with Security Breach, the presentation seemed quite fun. Again, like I said, a bit of a different take, and then I think you were in a mall or something. There's several varied locations from what is not as present on the mobile version, and you're like wearing the animatronic suits. You're, I believe, a human running away. Like, it's very similar, at least in the way it's structured, but it's got a different interface. I mean, you could see that as well if you've seen previous footage of this game. It looked quite good. Now, again, as I was saying, this is the launch trailer we're about to look at, so again, it's renewing at least some eyes on the project, and I figured it'd be fun to, you know, cover it again, because I've been waiting to maybe talk about Five Nights at Freddy's, especially in the lead up to the movie, and this is something new. If this is extensive to consoles beyond Nintendo, I'm not exactly sure. I would need to take a deeper look on that, but I mean, I don't know if, again, the launch trailer got other debuts in other channel markets, like for example Xbox or PlayStation. At the very least, it's going to be debuting, I'm assuming, around the Nintendo Switch, which I'm looking to acquire one. I mean, it's been out for a number of years now, and I gotta buy new updates on all of the consoles. I presently have an Xbox One, and that's it. It just, everything, it just screams like money, 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 and I see the dollar signs, and I'm like, I'm not totally thrilled about spending that much of my money. But I've been meaning to get, as I said, Nintendo Switch for a long while, and not just to get back into Five Nights at Freddy's, especially in a new way, but possibly to jump into Mario and some other franchises I'm looking to maybe relive in terms of at least some childhood nostalgia, and the Nintendo Switch offers an opportunity for that. I forget if this was available on other consoles as well. Maybe it was for the Xbox and I forgot about it, but maybe the whole point of this video is, I guess, is just a good reminder with Security Breach that this Five Nights at Freddy's game did exist. It was relatively newer release with some unique presentation to it. I mean, I was quite intrigued. Let's take a look at it for ourselves again, just to remind, maybe in some circuits, maybe some of you have played the game, and I just haven't yet. Maybe I'm way overdue on this, but this will be, maybe for some of us, a good reminder, right? Into Five Nights at Freddy's, at least a fun franchise in the beginning, and what still continues to be, I would imagine, for a number of people, told in a bit of a different manner with this new game. But let's review on it. And maybe there's things I'm forgetting about as well from my past coverage. Again, I haven't put out a Five Nights at Freddy's related video in probably about a year or a little upwards of that, so it's nice to hop back on, at least have an opportunity to do so. And like I said, it certainly had a fun presentation. I love the graphic style to it. More pastel-y than the original mobile game. Now, this is a very different imaginative, at least the tone of the trailer. I mean, again, I love the first-person perspective. And again, the variety of landscapes as a confined thriller game. I mean, it reminds me a lot of some of the stuff I used to play when I was a kid. Or, not to say when I was a kid, when I was far younger, and I still play as an adult occasionally. I mean, this seems like a very approachable game for general audiences as well. I mean, with some of the graphic stylings, it does seem in part to be like they're intentionally going for a broad appeal with families as well. And in terms of the mix of what's available gaming-wise these days, you might have some kids that would like a scary game that maybe parents feel otherwise, being like, you wouldn't want maybe your kid to be playing the most gory release out there. And Five Nights at Freddy's isn't that. It's just a bunch of jump scares, really. An overall fun thriller. I mean, again, like I said, I love confined thriller games. It's just something I love, and I've said on many occasions that Arkham Asylum is one of my favorites, and Five Nights at Freddy's isn't that, but it does remind me a lot in tone and in specific forms and realization of the spirit of that game and why I liked it so much. I'm part of the thriller aspect. Just in a bit of a different way. Like I said, with the presentation of this release is a little more pasteled than the mobile versions have been. Cleaner, I'd say. Not bad, though, at all. Maybe going for a bit more of a campy edge as well to intercede within the horror atmosphere of it. Again, I sense this project may be trying to go for a bit of a broader appeal than perhaps some of the other games had, but, on consoles, I mean, it's a question for you, I guess. If you are in any way, maybe you're just an occasional player or you're more fashion devotee to the Five Nights at Freddy's brand. What do you prefer? The mobile games or the console ones? Because I still question, which maybe has the larger fan base. I would think consoles. I mean, I don't know. Because the mobile games did very well on those platforms, and I think Five Nights at Freddy's has really had a solid land there. So to see it again adapted into other facets, I'm excited to try out, different variations of the game that I grew up really liking, and Security Breach boasts that. I'd love to hear your feedback as well on this particular game down below if you do wish to disclose your perspective. I mean, like I said, maybe this video in large part is just an opportunity to reinvigorate my interest in the Five Nights at Freddy's brand. Again, I admittedly, I cover a wide body of work, and so perhaps I've forgotten about certain projects along the way, especially on release dates. I mean, I try and keep a close eye on my schedule, but everything just shifts and overlaps. I may forget maybe a project or two. But Security Breach, from what I saw earlier, looked good, and from what I still see now, I mean, this trailer did mimic, at least in some parts, particular shots and stylings that the other trailers had, from what I remember. But generally, it still looks like a fun game. Again, I love the very location perspective, the first-person outlook on it, and just the overall thriller tone, which has made Five Nights at Freddy's so enjoyable. I'm excited to, try my hand at it in a whole new way. Maybe again when I get my hands on it, and perhaps a Nintendo Switch. I don't know when that will be. I've made this, I've declared this plug before in the past. I'm going to be relaunching my gameplay channel hopefully pretty soon. Maybe if I get my hands on Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, I can try my hand on it there. We'll see. I mean, keep your eyes peeled if you want. The link, again, there's no channel currently, or no channel content available because I'm in the process of rebooting it, but the link is active if you want to get linked up. So perhaps on the day that I acquire a Switch and this game, whenever that is, maybe it'll pop up there. And I would like to try again, like I said, a new take on Five Nights at Freddy's. I mean, not just to reinvigorate my original interest in it from a mobile perspective and what was presently available, or what's presently and what was in past availability, but it looks like a fun release to relive. I'm excited to try again and get back into the Five Nights at Freddy's mythology, especially since, the film is going to be coming out at some point soon. I mean, gets you in the spirit of things for sure. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.